Speaker. And an honourable friend for Prince Albert, although we're debating Bill C-68, I can't leave the comments he just made unchallenged. I participated as an intervener in the review of Kinder Morgan before the National Energy Board. The only evidence about jobs, there was two pieces of evidence. One was from Kinder Morgan that completing the expansion would create 90 new permanent jobs, 40 in Alberta and 50 in British Columbia, and that during construction they would create 2,500 jobs a year for 2 years. The other evidence about jobs came from the largest union representing oil sands workers in northern Alberta, Unifor. Its evidence was that completing the Kinder Morgan pipeline expansion would threaten Canadian jobs and cause a loss of jobs, with a direct threat to the remaining refinery in Burnaby, and losing, through opportunity cost, the jobs that could be created by having the product refined in Canada. Unfortunately, the National Energy Board ruled that jobs were not inside their mandate. They didn't want to hear anything about jobs, and they refused to hear the evidence from Unifor. So, in fact, there's not a single study anywhere, despite all the rhetoric and propaganda, that tells us that Kinder Morgan will be a long-term job creator in Canada. And again, the evidence the NEB refused to hear from the largest union involved was that it was a threat to jobs.
The honourable member for Prince Albert.
I thank her for her question, and I hope she was open-minded when she attended those hearings. I'd actually listened to all sides of that, because the reality is, Kinder Morgan is just one part of the whole sector. We needed Kinder Morgan to actually deliver the oil so that we had a market for the oil that we're developing. So the oil sands and other oil fields needed that pipeline to get it to market. Now, if you can't get it to market, well, then there's no reason to have those companies operating. If you're pulling a product out of the ground and has nowhere to go, then you don't pull the product out of the ground. Those are the jobs that are lost, and those are the jobs that weren't accounted for. So when she talks about the direct jobs in building the pipeline, that's true, and talks about the maintaining the pipeline, that's true. But that's just one segment of the whole industry. If you don't have that pipeline, if you're not delivering that product to the market, you lose the rest of it behind it. And that's thousands of jobs that have impact right across Canada, and it has the impact and the type of social benefits we can provide to all Canadians.